Perfect. Perfect. Alright, so both new cam seals are in. This one was a little bit tricky to get on because of this radiator hose. So if you're not confident, highly recommend getting rid of that. Makes this easier. Anyway, so that one's in, bottom one's in. So all of the parts below here were covered in oil from the leaks. So I'm gonna have to go through and clean all them and then start reassembling everything. So this might take a couple of hours. Alright, so here's the crank timing belt pulley and the crank trigger wheel. So just looking on the back, it looks like the way that these are, or this is attached, is it has this little keyway, and then each one of those looks like a bit of a press mark to sort of fold over onto this this trigger wheel to stop it moving. So I've seen guys online, they TIG weld small sections of this to, I guess, prevent this trigger wheel from coming loose or moving or anything, because obviously that would affect your timing pretty heavily. But yeah, I guess that they only do that for really high power applications or for some other reason. So I don't see any reason to do that on this one. Maybe in the future, if I ever make 1,000,000 horsepower, I'll do it. But yeah, for now, looks pretty clean, looks usable. Might give this face a little bit of a sand and I'll just throw it on the car. Okay, so whenever I install one of these, I always make sure the keyway is tilted a little bit, like the front edge is a little bit down, so that when I go to put this on, it doesn't get caught on that front lip of the pulley. And so when you tap it on, it sort of levels itself out as it goes on. So you'd want to do that for both of them so that they both don't get caught, because if you get the first one through and then the second one gets caught, you have to like back it out with the pull tool and it's all too hard. So make sure they're all nice and clean and then tap it all together with a soft like dead blow or like a brass face or a copper face or whatever they're called, mallet or something. Alright, so I've cleaned up this backing plate, reattached it, and this is the new fancy Golby's cam gear. It's adjustable, so I just went and aligned this as best I could, and you can see it aligns with that quite nicely, and then went through and tightened all these up just with an Allen key. So you can put some Loctite on them if you want. I didn't, I'll probably end up regretting that, but it's fine. And this is the old cam gear, so these are standard ones I presume, and they got rusty because they're old. So it's a hell of a difference, and it will look amazing once it's all together. Alright, so I got the two new cam gears on, looking amazing. Now, I've been told, or rather I read on the internet, that the cam itself is pretty hollow and it can actually let oil pass out through the front of the where the bolt is. So maybe that Loctite that I thought was on here was actually sealant, which is a good thing to know. So I don't have anything other than Permatex. Yay! I hate this stuff. It stinks, it's gross, it gets everywhere, but it's all I have. I can't buy anything today, so it'll have to do. Sorry if this isn't the right thing to put on a precious 2JZ, but anyway, let's throw it in and see what happens. Okay, so the cam gears are all nice and tight, and they're all lined up with the timing marks. You can see we've got 0 on the adjustable part, the dot on the gear itself, and then the press mark on the timing case, whatever you want to call this cover. So I'm not going to show you how I tighten those up because it was pretty disgusting and I would never recommend it to anyone. Probably the better way to do it is to like undo 2 of these, thread some bolts in, have like a metal strap or piece of bar or something, and make it all nice and neat and tight so that you can tighten this whilst holding the gear and you don't have to put any load on any of these. Toyota recommends a tool that gets inserted into 2 of the holes on its standard gears. I don't know what people typically use, but I use the old belt in a very disgusting way. So yeah, don't do what I did. Anyway, I'll just double check. I can actually see it from here. The timing mark, see it there? I hope you can, where it lines up with the one. Oh, it's just off, just a tiny little bit off. So it has to go anti-clockwise or to the left like a millimeter or 2 to get those timing marks to line up. So I'm going to do them and then throw the belt on and put the timing cover back on. Oh, I gotta put the idler in and the little grenade pin thing, so we'll do that in a bit. Alright, so it's time to put on the cam belt and the idler and the tensioner. So tensioner has 2 bolts. They don't come in this box, but that's the part number for this tensioner, I presume. And then that and that don't come with this, however they do help it stay in. Well, that one's for the crank cam thingo, whatever, trigger wheel to stay in place, and that's the part number for, I guess, just this bearing, but Golby Parts put the actual bracket inside this box too, so yeah, that's all those bits. Alright, so it's time to put the timing belt on. So again, everything's in top dead center. I've got my idler and my little grenade pin down there. That's the part number if you need it. Golby's stock these, and it comes out as pretty blue, so I made sure I washed my hands so I didn't get any stains on them. It is a very attractive looking belt color. Alright, let's put it together. Alright, so the cam gear's attached, the cam belt is attached, and you just got to make sure that you don't get hung up on this pin. I made that mistake and had trouble getting it on until I realized, and then it went on pretty easily. So it doesn't have any marks on the belt. You just need to make sure that your marks are lined up on the case and then down there at the crank, and keep the belt on this side relatively tight, because it'll be like, you know, the number of teeth between this cam gear and that what do you call it, crank pulley, and yeah, if they're different, then the timing will be different. So you got to make sure that that's nice and tight, and then the tensioner on this side will take up the rest of the slack. So, you know, however much there is there, it will take it up. But if this distance from up here, or this mark here down to this mark here, is nice and tight, then it should be all right. So the way you test it is throw a crank bolt back in and then rotate the motor twice, so it goes through the cycle of all 4 strokes, and then yeah, if all the timing marks line up again, you're good. Now I'm presuming you have to pull the pin on the grenade thing to do that, but I'm going to try before I pull the pin to see if I can do it, and not, you know, if I've screwed it up, I don't have the worry of trying to get a 10-ton press to press that back together. So I'll see if it works. If it doesn't, then I guess I'll just have to pull the pin and hope for the best. Alright, so I made the 1 full rotation, and as you can see, I can't see even. Alright, everything lines up nicely. There's 2 at the top, and you can see still, but oh, where are we? There we go. That one at the bottom lines up well. So you can rotate it before pulling your little grenade pin, wherever it is there, but yeah, it did, like, there was a lot of slack in the belt, and I was concerned that it might have got to it, but got to the end and it was all good. So now I'll tighten everything up and then pull the grenade pin, I guess. Yeah, alright, let's do it. Alright, so I just took the idler bearing back out of the block because I forgot to Loctite the bolt, and look what came out with it. The thread from the block. Are you kidding me? So now I gotta go find a fucking helicoil and fix this shit at 2 in the afternoon on a Sunday. It's just exactly what I wanted. The greatest gift this car could have given me. Thanks.